Nah, I just think you should rant. Also, can you hear my dishwasher? Oh, okay, we're recording.
And welcome, guys, to another incredible episode of Dots and Lines, where the Wednesday Warriors meet the Weeaboos.
Heartache.
Here with two of my closest friends in the world to talk about anime, comics, manga, and everything in between. So please introduce yourself so we can get this show on the road, fellas.
Hello, my name is Mikano. I do all the things with all the stuff. Your friendly neighborhood Renaissance man.
It's your boy, Mr. Sniffles, Digger Des. His name is Desmond. And yeah, I am a hard A, not a weeboo. We've already been through this. Hard A is manga. Anime is when you pronounce it hard of A's.
Hardest.
You know, we had a quick production meeting in which I said, guys, we can't curse for the first 3 minutes, and you just cursed about 2 or 3 times within 1 minute. Thank you.
How is that a curse?
It several times. Several.
We just talked about this.
Y'all talked about this.
Y'all want to redo the intro?
Yeah,
No.
No, for sure. Because I didn't like
Go ahead. Blame us.
That's that ER activity right there.
That's EO. That's not hard A. That's hard R.
even better.
All right. We got a lot of books to talk about, a lot of shows to talk about. This has been, once again, we are in a bevy of riches and enjoyment when it comes to entertainment, comics, manga, everything in between. I want to talk about the book that we've kind of all championed, Absolute Superman.
Come through.
Issue number 8 is the start of the new storyline, Superman, Son of the Demon. Nani? Quick synopsis, and I want you guys to jump on me about this. Clark goes back to Smallville.
Mhm.
He wants to feel a little bit more comfortable after all the things that's been happening to him, blah, blah, blah. This is his comfort place. And what do you know? Lazarus, the evil organization, comes through and tries to capture him. And he's juggling the egos of both Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane. And in the end, Lois Lane is left with a whole bunch of guns pointed at her by the Lazarus organization. Whole bunch of stuff in the middle. I thought this book was drawn beautifully. I thought the pacing was wonderful. And I once again, as Absolute books tend to do, I felt sad and intrigued all at the same time. How'd you guys feel?
Same, honestly. This book is phenomenal. The stuff that they're doing with Superman, you only find in like Elseworld stories where it's like really weirdly drawn or like really weird story about Mr. Mixapitolix or like stuff like that. And the fact that we're getting this, I keep using the word subversion whenever I talk about these books because that's quite literally what it is.
That's what it is. You know, it is what it is.
Good. It's so good. And I don't know. I feel like it's what Zack Snyder's Superman movie wanted to be. It's grounded, it's gritty, it's real. He may or may not be Spanish. We don't know, but he's got a tan and he's got some hair and he looks like his name might be Manuel, but he's doing great things.
He's doing great. And I really want to touch on what you said about the art. Quick lore background. The art was, if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be done by Raphael Albuquerque. So it was supposed to be really, indie looking and not quite house style like this, pristine. I gotta say, I love Rafa Sandoval's art. Love him. And he draws things with such vibrancy and fluidity. I mean, just look at this, bruh.
Ugh.
We were on here before talking, and this panel right here where he goes into tornado mode, it made me audibly gasp. I'm like, oh shit. Like,
yeah, audibly, out loud, reading a book. Like, oh, goddamn. Yeah.
The art's incredible, the action is incredible, and I really have no complaints about this. I do want to talk about the fact that it looks like one of the Peacemakers, the one that Superman really messed up like 2 issues ago.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he's basically Metallo now. This is this version of Metallo. and he's like sick. Yeah, because he's got the
Oh, that's crazy.
and he's got the radiation. Like he clearly shoots kryptonite bullets, and he can change radiation stuff. That was a really sneaky way to link that in and to introduce us to a new villain.
I didn't even peep that.
Mm-hmm.
Peep. Something else I want to say about Absolute Superman, and I think I mentioned this in the pre-production meeting where it looks like that Superman, even though he's not directly the linchpin of this universe, Darkseid is, he's still kind of the center of it. With the mention of Ra's al Ghul, who is typically a Batman villain, even though we haven't seen him in the Batman thing yet. Look at that, just dripping goo, I guess. I don't know. But like the fact that he is still in the book and that he is kind of like the big bad for Superman, which has never happened before because Superman could pop his head like a grape. Yeah. But the fact that he's the big bad in this, and I think that may be our thematic through line to Absolute Batman. So we may be getting like a world's finest team up within the next iteration of the Absolute books.
Yeah. Desmond, you're caught up with everything except for this latest issue because you're reading DC Ultra Pro.
Yeah, for sure. Issue number 7 is where I'm at.
By the way, it's not called Ultra Pro. I'm just being funny. It's DC.
DC Infinite.
DC Infinite Ultra. So, just for people at home to not scream me in the comments.
Mm-hmm. It's a good subscription for sure. It pays for itself very quickly. Yeah.
We talked about this last month real briefly, but I do want to get your perspective on how you feel about Absolute Brainiac, because I don't know if he's going to be Vandal Savage is going to be the Vandal Savage.
Someone wants to say hi. Hello.
Hey, what's up? What's up, King?
What up?
Big man.
Damn, we got the little homie on the pod.
All right, continue with your song. My bad.
Okay, all right. We don't want to cut off kids. Yeah, how do you feel about Brainiac? Because I feel like Phil's right about how Ra's al Ghul seems like he's the big bad. He owns Lazarus, but like Brainiac could kill all of them whenever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
So, me getting up to issue 7, I was getting the parallels between Superman and this Brainiac about how he was in the space shuttle for days on end, months on end after his planet literally blew up, and the cape, the suit of what he's wearing from his mom is keeping him alive and will continue to. And this Brainiac's storyline, he's got like a collective of Brainiacs, and he's just one of many who serves, and he's just trying to figure out the conundrum of Superman. So when Superman was flying in deep space, they said it was like 900,000 or so many light years, or maybe 900 or so, but 900 or so light years away from.
It was a lot.
Yeah, from Krypton blowing up. So the fact that they had those parallels of being in that collective of I only have one service to provide, like a whole collective of Brainiacs just to do your own bidding. Like that's some wild shit. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean he feels like the obviously big bad, but like the way they set it up with the Ghoul, you can see where one's taking orders from the other type of shit.
Yeah, man. I feel like Absolute has done this incredible job of giving us really formidable foes. Like the mission statement by Scott Snyder was having them have all the chips basically stacked against them and still rising above it. And I listen, Superman is in a world where he didn't have his mom, pa. All right. He's living in a world where he's not as powerful as the other Superman. He has no Fortress of Solitude, and the evil corporations have already won. Lazarus it's what we all say a dystopian version of like Amazon would be. They run everything. They have people everywhere, and they can do whatever they want. And then there's this billionaire oligarch that's been around for way too long, just running things behind the scenes. And on top of that, there's this extra dimensional being that has information on everyone and is really oddly intrigued with Superman. I genuinely read some of these stories and I'm like, I don't know how he's going to win. And I find that genuinely intriguing and satisfying because when you make me think about how you're going to win, that means you have an interesting way to getting there.
Yeah, I think for sure it's like when you have the concept of Superman, it's hard to write Superman because how do you write a story for the person that no one can physically beat, who is constantly holding back, who at any point can snap his fingers and solve a problem? And this does that where it's like like you said, I have no idea how he's gonna beat Brainiac. First off, Brainiac is nightmare fuel. That photo is terrifying. And he is effectively like he's a crash out of the Brainiac universe or the collective. He is the crash out. He is the young boy who is out here trying to sow his worlds, just trying to be in the streets for some reason.
In this panel, he is literally journaling his day of killing other hens.
Yeah.
What's his name? YN Melly?
YNW Melly.
YNW Melly / Brainiac.
Yeah, shout out to him. He's never going to be free. Do y'all remember that period of time where people say he was going to be free by Christmas 5 years ago?
No,
absolutely. Just like Max B going to be home. Nah, I'm dead. free to wave.
Max B was supposed to get out when we graduated high school. Well, yes. I graduated 09.
I'm about to blow me a dub. No, nothing but great things about Absolute Superman. But we got to talk about some other alternate universe stuff, and that would be Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion. I was really excited for this book. So excited when my comic book shop brought out this cover.
Shit, platinum.
I had to grab it because I'm an idiot that pays for shiny cardboard.
Don't act like we wasn't doing that in high school, buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Oh no, I still do it now. I buy entirely too many cards.
It's definitely not a high school only thing.
I'm saying like we started in high school and now we're here.
No, I used to steal in high school. Now I can pay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say we was never mind.
I was thieving.
None of that matters.
If my mom watches this, she's gonna be so mad and annoyed. God. Anyway, so yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion. It's really not that deep of a story. It's fun. If you remember when the maker in the beginning of this version of Ultimate Universe was going around, he gave Miles Morales a card and said, "Hey, do you want to come back to the universe with me?" And he was like, "Nah, I'm straight." And he was like, "All right, take this card. You'll change your mind." He doesn't change his mind. He's actually a well-rounded person with like a good family and says, "No, why would I want to go to another universe?" His 1-year-old or 11-month-old sister finds the card in the trash and opens the portal and falls through. And Miles Morales has to go into that other universe and chase her down. And he never finds her. He never finds her. Someone else finds her, and I guess we'll find that out in issue 2. But it's actually really scary because this universe is actually much darker than 616.
Wow.
And yeah, King, I know you know. Nah, let him speak his mind. No, but one of the bright spots is the fact that like there's Spider-Man has a son, and Spider-Man. Remember that image we showed with them giving dap?
Yeah,
that actually happens. And you got to think about it. In Miles Morales' timeline, he's been Spider-Man for at least 3 years because he started when he was like 15 or something, or 12. He's been Spider-Man for a couple years. And in this universe, Peter's been Spider-Man for like a year and a half, maybe. So he has literally at least double the amount of time being Spider-Man. I say all that to say he's doing stuff kind of effortlessly, really equipped with experience for Spider-Man. And Peter's son, Richard, is kind of fanning out like, "Yo, Dad, he's raw, right? Like, look at him. He's so good. He's good at this." And Peter's kind of hating like, "Well, you know, I haven't been doing it that long. So, like, I don't know why he's so happy about it."
It's going to drop the N-bomb soon.
Yeah, right. Listen, it's fun, though, because little fun hijinks ensues. There's a scene where he asks Richard Parker. Oh, no, let me guess, you're Venom, because he's in like a suit that looks like Venom.
Mhm.
And Richard says, "Oh no, but I like that name. I'll keep it," which is like terrible foreshadowing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And it's a fun little romp around a universe, but for me, it's kind of scary because like at the end of the story, he still doesn't find his sister,
Mm.
and he gets caught by the Ultimates. One of those Ultimates being Janet Van Dyne, who is
Oh, that's right. I wonder what the maker's plan was when he invited Peter. Was he gonna like invite him? I mean, not Peter, Miles. When was he gonna like invite him and then give him like New York and say, "All right, this is yours to rule over, but you are effectively the kingpin."
That's a great question. I think about that a lot too because like he twisted his world so much, and he actively made sure there wasn't another Spider-Man.
Yeah,
So why would you invite one over?
maybe Miles would have become. I don't know. He would have tried to turn him into a villain or something. But even that doesn't make sense because Miles is a hero. So
Well, we saw what he did with another version of Reed Richards. So maybe he would have tortured him until he did what he needed to. I don't know, but I do know this. The book was fun, and the scariest part is that as soon as he hops into the universe, the leaders of the world, who is like a giant cabal of supervillains,
mhm.
find out he's there and are trying to catch him.
Mm. Okay, I see everybody on the cover too. The Winter Soldier, regular Spider-Man, Storm.
None of them make an appearance except for Spider-Man.
Clickbait. Clickbait.
Yeah. It's supposed to lie on the cover. Let me give a quick shout out to Cody Ziegler. He is the current Miles Morales writer. He's been doing a great run on issue like 30 in his 30s. Like that doesn't happen much in comics. They're always rebooting and stuff. Incredible. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Good for him. This book is fun. Go pick it up if you want to have a good time with Spider-Man.
Okay.
Why is the Ultimate Universe having a better time at having good Spider-Man stories in the main line? I don't know.
Same reason why Absolute has better stories with all their big three than the main line.
That's debatable.
Yeah.
Does Arlen count as mainline?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Look, we turning normies into nerds every day, baby.
Yeah. Normies into nerds.
My boy said all in, bro.
Shout out to Arthur. Arthur it's Arthur Curry. It's Arthur Boyle. Shout out to all the Arthurs out there.
Big ups to all my Arthurs.
Shout out to King Arthur. You know all that.
I want to talk about another book that was really big this week. Jonathan Hickman hitting us with another banger from me, Imperial.
Okay.
You have different opinions on this. I've been yapping for a little bit, so Phil, go ahead, take off.
I feel like Imperial did a lot of things well with the cosmic Marvel landscape, which Jonathan Hickman does very, very well, right? Like that's literally his bag. However, I don't want to say however. I don't like the concept of setting up Wakanda as like the thing, as the universal big bad. And I know it's gonna be like a rug pull and be like, oh, it actually wasn't us. It was actually this group from 10,500 years ago that are actually pulling the strings and doing stuff.
Yeah.
And that's cool, but I feel like especially with the whole thing with like T'Challa's white son and
We'll talk about that later.
oh God, yeah. I don't feel like Wakanda has gotten like a good rap in anything. And then the previous run of Black Panther was also damn near atrocious. Like you have all these things setting up this place as the bad guys, or just not. I guess the term would be like character assassination to a degree.
Okay.
But the story does do a good job of setting up the cosmic Marvel landscape. The story does do a good job with giving us Worldbreaker Hawk again and like his like armor and stuff like that, and framing it in a way of like the relationship with his other son that we don't hear about at all, because the only son we really hear about is Scar, not the other one that has been ruling the planet essentially. And it does give us Amadeus Cho again, which is cool. And it sets up the family dynamics of the cosmic Marvel, which we don't really see a lot.
So I do want to just walk one thing back real quick. The son that was ruling was Scar, and he's dead now. and that's why there is like a period where there's war everywhere, and he's trying to make some peace.
Oh, I'm tripping. I thought it was his other son.
No.
He has two, right?
I'm pretty sure he only has one.
Okay.
I could be incorrect in that. Maybe I misread something, but that's why he went there, because there's a period of unrest,
Yeah.
and that's why he's leaving Jen Walters there to kind of keep shit cool.
As the region, yeah. I thought he had another son that didn't have a Hulk form, that was closer to the mom.
No lie. If he does, then I'm just not aware.
Okay. No, I might be wrong on that. But either way, I like the book did a lot of things good and it set up a lot of things. I just don't like framing the intergalactic thing of Wakanda as like they're trying to destabilize the universe, because then that bleeds into a larger message of like Wakanda being the bad guys and like the only black people in space, because everybody else is colors, but the only black people in space are trying to sabotage everything, and that's crazy to me.
Well, objectively, they're not the only black people in space. Star-Lord's sister is half black, like noticeably black, and she is killed. So instances.
Yeah, but still, yeah.
Just objectively.
But what'd you like about it? What did it do well for you?
Well, first off, I didn't do this for Desmond. I should give you a quick synopsis of what this is, because I know you're like, what the fuck are we even talking about?
I'm just waiting for Nova's name to come up. I'm like, that's the only man I know of this.
Listen, quick 2-minute explanation. The Hulk has to go to the place where he had the World Breaker Hulk series, because the World War Hulk series, because his son, Scar, who was ruling the place, has been killed. It turns out through a whole bunch of findings out in the book that most of the regions of specific empires are being killed by two poisons working counteractively in a devastating way. Star-Lord's sister, who was ruling Spartax or Spartoid, whatever they're saying now, she's also been fallen by the same poison. And that makes Star-Lord get your boy Nova involved, which doesn't make a difference because he doesn't come through until after someone else dies.
Richard Ryder.
So they find out how this poison is being made, and it is because the Kree Skrull poison has been doing its magic, blah, blah, blah. They confront the Kree Skrull Empire, and they deny it, and then a scientist says, no, actually, we did make that poison. Like, someone orders to make it. We just do what we're asked. Right before he tells who ordered him to make it and who was delivered to, he gets shot in the face, like definitely dead.
Yep.
And they kill Star-Lord's dad. Then they kill another region. And the person who did it was wearing a Wakanda suit. It was one of the Panthers.
Niggas die every day, B. That's what I got to say about that.
Crazy.
And, after they chase him a little bit, even though it doesn't matter because they have to try to save some people, what happens next is they basically say, listen, we're about to get ready for some war. And that is what's going to happen. So Hulk with Amadeus Cho, you see him on the cover there. Hulk with Amadeus Cho and Jen Walters and Richard Ryder are going to go to war with some folks. And for me, this is me. I really love this. I did. And I'm going to tell you why I loved it. I didn't start reading comics until about 2012, right? The first Marvel book that made me start reading other Marvel books was Infinity. And this gives me so much shades of Infinity. Because it drops you in a world that's already been lived in with a whole bunch of politics that I really didn't quite understand. And then it was churning up into this big thing where I know, and they telegraph, there's a final war coming here, and this is going to be big. So you should probably read this whole thing. I read Infinity, like the whole first 6 issues or whatever, or the first 3 issues. And I was like, I don't understand everything, but I love what's going on. And it made me go back to start reading Avengers by Jonathan Hickman. And then I was like, this is incredible. And I read New Avengers and da-da-da-da. This gives me so much of that. I think this is going to pull in a lot of people that maybe have been lapsed in Marvel Cosmic or just Marvel as a whole, because there is stuff happening in here. Hulk does beat the dog shit out of a nigga within the first 3 pages. People get shot in the face
Twice.
twice. There's a space chase going on. A white Wakandan, not the one we're going to talk about later, is driving around in like a motorcycle and stuff. Like cool shit is happening.
Yeah, I feel like for Marvel, Cosmic has always been more impressive than Earth. There's so much stuff happening, but like I said, Infinity, goated story, 10 out of 10.
And it for me as like I said, I've been reading since 2012. Do you know how much references they made to things that I have read?
Mm-hmm.
Empire, which is something Jonathan Hickman was involved in. The Kree Skrull alliance that was made since Teddy's been back. Last Annihilation, which is written by Al Ewing. Amadeus Cho having like an actual like speaking role. I read the first issue when he became Totally Awesome Hulk. This is great to me. You know what I mean? Acknowledging the intergalactic empire of Wakanda. So much stuff that I've read has been re-injected back in here, and that's one of the reasons why I love comics, because it can pay you off. It can pay you off for the things that you've invested in. Like all that stuff matters here. It's real. It's still a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when Dragon Ball Z pays homage to Dragon Ball.
It's not even just paying homage, it's like actually making it story points. Like them finding that giant mound of even greater mound of Wakanda and using it for their intergalactic empire makes a big deal here, because the universe needs that vibranium to make their doorways into space or whatever, which makes the Wakandans even more powerful, like politically.
Yeah.
I read the issue where Star-Lord's sister gets introduced. I think I might still have that issue, to be honest with you. I remember reading it. I was in Atlanta at the time. I was like, is she really going to matter? And actually, yeah, she matters, because the reason why they kind of confront the council of all these regions is because like that character has been poisoned.
And then she catches space AIDS. And
Yeah, essentially. I don't know, man. I'm just a sucker for these feelings. Maybe it's not nostalgia, but it is fulfilling an itch of things mattering that I read in space. I love it.
Speaking of an itch, real quick,
Yeah.
Absolute Green Lantern.
Oh man.
I'll keep it brief. I'll keep it light. I'll keep it funky.
Go ahead.
The things that it's doing for the mythos, it's giving me Blackest Night. It's giving like, all right, you like all this stuff. Here's the things, but in different ways. The fact that they still including like the Green Lantern's weakness to yellow, which is gold in this case, in this book.
Awesome.
The fact that they're giving Joe control over her powers. And I felt like what they were going to do was establish a relationship between Joe and John and have them be married and all this other stuff. But no, they're not. They're over here. They're just with each other, just friends. And even like the inclusion of Abin Sur basically just running down on niggas and being like, nope, you're going.
That was crazy.
But we still don't know what is happening when he does that. We still don't effectively know how we got from point A to point B with how Jordan, his whole arm being possessed by the Black Hand. So there's still, it answers, for every question it answers, it asks 3 more, which is very hard to do in a series or a book where it's like, all right, it's just light powers. But yet it's so deep, it's so rich, it's so complex. And even like the artwork is goated. Like, what is like, I could talk about this book forever, but that's all I got to say about it. 10 out of 10. Go read it.
Yeah, go read this book, man. It's keeping me at the edge of my seat. I will say though, I love this book, and I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. This is kind of issue 3, and Joe hasn't really been. I don't want to say hasn't been doing anything, but hasn't been like wrecking shit yet.
No showcase.
I mean, I'm ready for her to start doing that. Like it's those first 3 issues, for sure. Issue 4 and 5, use some of those powers, please.
Yeah, we'll get there. We just got to the point that she can control her shit. We just got there. So
yeah,
give it give it to issue 5 before I turn the TV off.
Hey, I'm excited for the next issue. I I don't know if I'm excited for the next one we're talking about. For those of you watching, that is T'Challa's white son.
YT.
Okay, so in this new series, Marvel Knights: The World to Come, I had the pleasure of reading this right before the pod. I got it spoiled for me. I bought it before everyone found out that T'Challa has a white son. We're burying the lead here. T'Challa has a white son.
Why? Who asked for this?
Let's
Except
talk
for
about
white people.
let's talk about it. They brought the meme to life. It's and
Yo,
they did.
Yeah.
So it just looks like it's a very quick, not quick, but a streamlined story of him getting older and him having challenges of being a king while defending the throne, him having to betroth a woman to create a son. His son is the one he's fighting with. Final page reveal is the son is white. There is really cool parts about the story. You find out that Aurora dies in a race war. Okay. You also find out that he tried to date other women and just didn't work out. The struggles of a king trying to lead a kingdom, or just any important man while balancing an emotional life, for sure. And I'm with all that. I don't think I hate the fact that his son is white. I just hope that they don't. I'm sure they're doing it for something deeper. For anyone who doesn't know, Christopher Priest is a legendary writer. Has written more incredible comics than I could for remember. He's forgotten more good comics than I can remember. He's incredible. He does have a tendency to write to a point where it's like proving how smart he is, as opposed to maybe sometimes just have it be entertainment for entertainment's sake. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. That's a writing style. I want to know where they go with this, and I'm intrigued. If this wasn't part of the story, I would be just fine.
How
Hold
does
up.
All right, go ahead.
Little note there.
Go ahead, pop
All right,
off.
you just said this man writes like he wants to prove how smart he is.
It's not. I
No,
shouldn't.
Is that what you said?
That's what I said.
All right, but you also said that this man chose to write where Storm is killed in a race war. Is that what you said?
It's literally called the race war. I'm sure that it's called something else, or it means something else.
It's divisive. Why would you say that? That means one thing.
Wow. So I'm writing because I'm showing off how smart I am. I choose the decision to have T'Challa have a white son and kill, Storm. Traditionally, like T'Challa's. Oh, okay. Yeah.
We don't know if he's the one that killed Storm. Come on now, we don't know.
No, talking about the writer killing.
The decision of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say that because I have such a reverence for Christopher Priest. But I've read his Deathstroke run. I've read, he's had a great important run with Black Panther. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah.
I've read stuff of his like Superman Lost, Shazam, which I thought was incredible, right? There is some periods of time where he's writing so intellectually that it does take a little bit away from some of the dialogue.
And that's cool, but like if you're gonna do that, at least make an OnlyFans for it. Don't do it in public,
bro.
Like if you're gonna stroke yourself, cool. There's no need to do that in public.
We the Black community does not need you having fan fiction with Black Panther's IP right now. We are not doing good so far since the first movie. We don't need you doing that right now.
Dr. Umar will be upset.
Dr. Umar would be upset. I don't hate it. I really don't. It's because I have so much faith in him. I know he's going to bring it home because he always brings it home.
Yeah, but why? I just don't understand why, though. That's like showing up to the party with a gun. Why would you do that? There's only one way that night ends.
Well, we have to be mindful that T'Challa has a brother who was white, remember? Because his dad canonically adopted a little white boy that became the White Wolf. That is canon.
he adopted him. Yes.
This could be the same situation with T'Challa. We don't know.
Yeah, but his dad also had a child.
Yeah, that's where it gets a little iffy because in this book, he has a conversation with his mom, and she's like, it'd be great to have a grandmother. And the first child we see is
the white man,
Katama.
There we go. I was gonna say it. I don't think I've heard the whole name mentioned the entire time we were talking about, man.
Yeah, no, he's T'Challa's white son. And at some point, he's gonna kill his dad and be the Emperor of Wakanda. And then I'm gonna just ask more questions of like, if you hate black people, just say that.
He doesn't. Christopher Priest is very blackety black. He is. We got to respect the legends here.
I'm sure.
He is an incredible black writer that has pushed the culture forward in so many ways. I have nothing but love and respect for him. This is a choice, though.
It is a strong. I hope he brings it around. So for the sake of that and the emotional currency he has owned, I will recant my point and I will wait to see what happens.
Yeah, if he brings it home.
If this Caucasian colonizer person becomes the Emperor of Wakanda.
Yeah, it's tough. It'll be tough. It'd be really tough. It'd be tough. I'm hoping that's not the case.
I would say impossible.
My son says impossible.
Impossible. Exactly, right? Like, we know, I have faith. Christopher Priest, I have faith in you. I'm probably going to get this book signed by him if he ever comes to a con again.
Yeah. You should have him sign over a dude's face.
What the?
And be like, yo, why? This you? You did this?
I might. I will concede this point to you, Phil. T'Chaka did only adopt a son after he had a son. T'Challa only having a white son, that's a little tough to swallow.
Yeah. And again, like I was saying with the Imperial thing, just the character assassination of like the only black nation in Marvel Comics. Like,
we're not looking so good right now.
No, we down 500 points.
We're kind of looking crazy.
Looking crazy. And mind you, these books are back to back.
These were released the same week.
It's not even like we got months apart, and this is after the last one of Black Panther, which was just I don't even remember what happened. Like my mind blocked it out. That's how bad it was.
I do want to be mindful here. Mm-hmm. John Ridley had the run you're talking about, then Evo Ewing had a run after that. So
okay. It was one of those runs. My mind blocked it out. It was
probably John Ridley's run. No one likes that run.
It was bad, and that's crazy because how? I don't know. Either way,
it was the. Actually, I don't want to get into that. All right, let's hit the next topic, guys. Desmond.
On a lighter note,
Desmond, we got some shit for you.
I'm sure y'all do.
So we have been yapping for a long time, and I really want you to talk about Fire Force episode 9. Objectively, I didn't get to watch this episode, so I don't want to lie and say I feel like this. No. So I'm really, if you could hit us with some shit, you know what I mean? Tell us how great Arthur is and how we deserve to glaze him.
Double hand twist.
If y'all want to glaze Arthur, do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not stopping you. Be who you want to be, love who you want to love.
Shout out to Nate.
Nah, that's way too inside right now. You could have said Ray J, you could have said the Breakfast Club, but yes, shout out to
one of our friends is debating whether or not I'm bisexual because and he doesn't know how to feel about it, and he's not talking to me. He's asking our friends and not me. That's the insider.
I didn't know you were going to say it.
That's way too inside. I don't even know how to feel about that.
If he watches this episode, he'll know. Actually, I'm not bi, but if he does, what's he going to do? He's going to see me in a week.
Just the contemplation is just funny. Anyway, back to like pod shit.
Oh shit.
King Arthur, man. Phil has seen the episode, so at least I get to go back and forth with him and the dynamic of his family. Arthur is in the Nether, doing the whole RPG thing. Vulcan trying to get him to the finish line. and ease him away into there. But no, Arthur, we're not following your shit. It's not worthy enough, nigga. I just lost to a fucking dragon. I need something that's going to amount to try to defeat him. So he sees his family in the nether, his mom and dad. This nigga got 2 more children after him after he abandoned them.
Yo, when I saw that, I was like, it's been so long since I've read Fire Force. I forgot that
2 or 3. Yeah, so he's got little brothers and sisters who have no idea who he is because his dad, though his delusions are correct. Like he claims himself as a seer. He saw the evangelists and what they're doing with infernos and spontaneous human combustion, like all through his hat, all through his delusions of looking at his hat, seeing the stars and just tripping balls out in fucking the Underground Railroad. Like,
I would also say
Arthur is black.
Yeah, if I could add something to that, he effectively has the same level of delusion as his son.
Yes,
but it literally adds to their power. The level of just like, I'm basically crazy, but like, fuck it, we ball.
Hey,
yeah.
But
so the sword comes from. He thinks it's a meteorite. Well, that's what he tells himself with the delusion. But it's really from a spaceship, and it's just super, flame resistant iron or the equivalent of whatever mythology he placed it with.
Yeah, this episode also gave a great lore drop of the fact that the Fire Force world is just built on top of our world.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we get Shinra going in more of a Dola Link with Show. So this literally is the next arc with it. Yeah, we're approaching why Shinra is the main character. Like Arthur's run was good. All of this half of season 3 has been Arthur. You get Arthur versus Dragon. You get his whole getting the sword now. So Shinra vs. Burns was cool too, but what we're about to see now from him in Show, that's really that part of what makes Shinra like almost God Shinra.
Yeah.
Eventually getting to that point.
Yeah. The fact that he does all this for his brother, like that's his whole purpose. Is just I'm trying to get my brother back. I don't really care. Like he cares about the overall overarching world, but like his main thing is I just want my brother back.
Right.
Yeah, mom's gone. That's all he got. So literally it's Bond Show. There's another word in there. I think I remember it from Full Metal Alchemist, but it's a Japanese type of deal. Bond Show. Matter of fact, his god form is the last part of that name, I think.
Yeah, Shinra. No spoilers, but spoilers. I think it's Shinra Bancho Man or
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
something
that third part of it.
Yeah, something akin to that. When's the last time we've gotten like a good like main character, side character that's not like his like enemy?
Like 1 and 2.
Like fucking Yusuke and Kuwabara, like that type shit where it's like we're on the same type of timing.
Maybe Asta and Yuno. Is that a good one?
Because they were
Yeah.
I mean, they're rival, but they're not like.
Yeah, I guess it's rival turn friends.
Rival, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sasuke and Naruto in that matter either.
Well, no, they had a murder boner for each other.
Yeah.
Sasuke wanted to get in his guts with his Chidori. So,
and if anything, you could argue that the 2 is more over than the 1 in this dynamic.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Desmond, you watched My Hero Vigilantes episode 9, right?
I did, and Koichi gets a little bit of quirk awakening on a gag. Basically, he copped the new All Might hoodie, and this man went plus ultra because his mom's is in town. So
my man got a Jordan drop and then started flying for real.
Off of sheer will, like seeing that. it made me feel about how Deku got done cleaning up the beach with training with All Might. Like I know that's pretty early on in My Hero, and this is pretty later on in Vigilante for Koichi to get that type of deal. Even though for Deku that wasn't like a quirk, not like awakening or anything, but that was just like a victory. And for Koichi to do this in front of his mom, who's always held him back in layman's terms, quite literally, because his whole thing is propulsion. Like that's how he glides and slides. So it's really cool to give him the moment in this episode.
So story.
Yeah, I love Koichi so much as a character because he really is like Deku is the hard work for sure. But like Koichi is like not really a great guy in the beginning. Like he's kind of I don't want to say a burnout, but he's kind of mulling along in life and has accepted where he was at. And he gets a quick jump start from meeting Knuckle Duster, and he starts really working hard. He really unlocks his full potential. And that shows up in his quirk too, which we haven't even seen the half of.
For sure. Yeah. That's wrapped up really perfectly of how like it's more of a longer burn of him getting his ups, because Knuckle Duster is obviously a good mentor and instilling that hope and self-belief in him.
Yeah.
Whereas, to actually make a difference with what they're doing.
It raises a very interesting question of like, especially for Vigilante, of like, how do you become special in a world where everyone is special?
That's very much how he even feels too, of being a hero, wanting to be a hero and doing vigilantism activities with them. So that's a good way to put it. I mean, when he was just gliding and doing everything on the ground, he didn't really seem too impressive. But to go back into the backstory of figuring out it was all propulsion the entire time, that adds like how if the quirk didn't seem so dynamic at first, maybe he was just underutilizing how it was supposed to be.
I also feel like it's whether it did this on purpose or not is to be seen, but it's just about perception. On his day-to-day life, for him to use his quirk or how he thought he needed to use his quirk, he was constantly staring at the ground because he had to have 3 points touching at some point for the quirk to activate. And with this, he realizes I can actually look up at the sky.
That's beautiful.
From then, the sky is the limit. He does more and more stuff, which I don't want to spoil. I love Koichi as a character. Awesome character growth.
I mean, yeah, he's got Market. He got the upperclassmen shorty in his arms right now. He saved her life.
Yeah.
So and she's seen moms. He might. I mean, it might be his way. She's the of age one.
Shorty's really 15. They keep talking about her, but Japan's weird.
Yeah,
Japan's weird. I was watching a video. I'll keep this short too, about how it's American viewers that don't want to see like a female character only loving a man because that's not a character trait. And I saw like 10, 20, 30 people like if we're talking about Pop Step. And I commented, you guys are all gross. She's 15. There should be no conversation about a relationship between a 15-year-old and a college-year-old.
Yeah.
Guys, what the fuck?
Like it's cute for her and her little story, but like, that can't be reciprocated
at all. There should be you should not encourage this. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Fucking fandoms, bro. That would just be the most toxic thing that like they can't comprehend to like not put like real life aspects in like maybe we shouldn't ethically think to do this just for
maybe let's not be weird,
Let's not be weird, dog. Anyway.
No. But speaking of fandoms, I have a question for Justin.
Yeah.
The Gundam fandom, are they toxic? Or are they good?
We're awesome.
They're supportive. Shout out to the Gundam community. Shout out to the Kira feminism.
First off, let's get this out in the open. Gundam community's been going crazy. The Gundam multiverse is real,
Mm.
and the Gwirlies are fighting.
Oof.
People are a little bit mad about the revelation at the end of this episode. Quick synopsis: Machu gets to Earth, meets Lala Soon. Lala Soon from the original universe is the woman who's a new type that has these powers that Amuro and Char were fighting over, essentially. I'm super simplifying it. She, in this universe, never got to meet Char because he blew up and got isekai'd, and she keeps seeing visions of literal other timelines where Char dies over and over again, and she feels like her life doesn't start until she meets Char.
Mm.
So she's basically stuck here in this brothel getting fucked by dirty rich niggas. And she helps Machu escape. Machu tries to get her to come. She says, I can't leave until Char comes back. Like, she really feels like her life doesn't start until she meets Char. It's
God,
crazy.
that is sad.
It is incredibly sad. And this is where, like I said, the multiverse is real, because she's not just like seeing these in her mind. The multiverse is interacting with hers. At the end of the episode, there is a mobile armor. For those not informed, a mobile armor is like a Gundam, basically, that doesn't stand on two legs. There's a mobile armor from another dimension. One of the captains says, we never finished that model before. How is it here? It turns out that model was the Rose of Sharon. The thing that Shuji was so spaced out trying to look for on Earth. The Rose of Sharon is literally a mobile armor from another universe that has hopped into this universe of Gquuuuuux. And guess who's in there?
G Gundam?
A multiversal universe version of this same Lala Soon.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, shit is getting wicked. Shit is crazy. I watched this episode and thought to myself, what? This has never happened to any Gundam I've ever watched. There's literally a different multiversal person in this in the same multiverse. Like, it's crazy.
Has Gundam ever done multiverse before? I think this is the first one, right?
I think so, especially where it's like, so definitely this is a thing.
Yeah.
It even looks alien compared to the stuff that they built in this world because it's from a different dimension.
Yeah, that's the mobile armor?
That's the mobile armor.
Oh, that John look crazy. It kind of looks like a helmet.
I can see that.
Word. Gundam Megazord.
Yeah.
Like shark Pokemon.
Mhm.
That's also like an insect or whatever.
Yeah.
Now,
crazy.
as a person who loves Gundam, I would have to admit one of my original sins is that I've never watched the original Gundam 78 all the way through. But it gets referenced so much in so much Gundam media, I know everything that happens. So for me to see that original Gundam, because this is the Lala Soon from that universe, apparently, is hopped over in this universe, that means everything's connected, guys. All of it.
The good and the bad.
The
Just
good and the bad.
Gundam pop up and all its racism.
And all its racism. Shout out to the Tequila Gundam. A lot of people were arguing about how they don't.
All my homies got me. Hallelujah.
Nigga, hallelujah.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah. Big Kanye fans over here. You know?
Nope. Don't say that.
Yeah.
Don't say that. You keep that to yourself.
It's just flashing lights.
A lot of woo.
Nope.
You hate these niggas more than a what?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, I thought you were going to say another N word. Listen, there's a lot of discussion about how they don't want everything to be connected and that this cheapens the universe. As a Gundam fan, I actually think it's more interesting because I've been a comic book fan my whole life. Multiverses have always been kind of weaved in my brain. They exist, they just don't interact. For them to interact means so much more story opportunity. And it makes me also go, there's no way this ends in 3 episodes.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no way.
There'll probably be another season to tie everything up because we still don't. Have we gotten where Char is at?
Actually, yeah, we have some pretty big clues. 2 episodes ago, someone was accompanying like a dignified person to go to Earth or whatever, or somewhere in the Federation. I don't know. And it was a blonde guy covering his eyes. It's Shar.
Yeah.
Let's not even pretend it's Shar.
Okay.
So Shar came back from being isekai'd and he's doing something in the world. We don't know what he's doing yet, though.
Looking for Lala.
Wait,
Looking
so
for Allah.
it was
Start her life.
What's up?
It was always supposed to be 12 episodes.
Yeah, they're being real vague about it. There's a whole bunch of conflicting reports, 12, 13. I don't know why they're keeping it so under wraps, but I do know that I'm here for it, and I know that there's going to be a second core. There has to be.
Okay. I think it's about time to pick that bad boy up again.
It's so, listen, if you're a longtime Gundam fan, remember how I was saying Imperial pays a whole bunch of stuff off?
Mm-hmm.
This made my brain explode and said, whoa, all that stuff matters. Holy shit.
Okay. I'm about to check it out. Pick it up again. I stopped at episode 3. Picking it back up.
And let's talk about our glorious king, y'all. Kuma in his suffering. Kuma's basically Jesus. Basically Jesus.
Yeah.
He takes all the pain and suffering of people in his village, and every Sunday he chooses as his day of rest because he absorbs all of it.
He needs to give him a break.
Yeah.
Listen, and it's not cute. You remember that nothing happened moment with Zoro?
I remember the Funko.
Okay. Well, that happens every Sunday. It's so much pain and suffering that it almost makes him pass out.
Yeah.
Every time he does it, it's like this.
The fact that like Kuma was kind of not a throwaway character, but just kind of like there, and we didn't understand any of Kuma's motivations in any of the previous arcs up until it came out that he was with the Revolutionary Army and all that other stuff, and then this makes it all make sense. Like this, it does such a good job of giving us of like, all right, this is why all those mysterious things happen, and like Oda's cooking.
Oda's cooking, man. Oda's cooking. This might be my favorite arc of all time.
Really? Yeah.
The Egghead arc might be my favorite.
Yeah, we did say that. Yeah.
Of One Piece again.
Of One Piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They pay so much stuff off. We learn so much stuff, and they're actually fighting. And I don't. There's a lot of One Piece where it's just a lot of talking. I love Oda, but there's a lot on the page sometimes. And like, I don't know, this stuff actually felt like it mattered.
Yeah. Egghead is where we get the most payoff for anything because the story officially starts after Egghead. So Egghead is the last bit of world building. Well, it was supposed to be the last bit of world building.
I was going to say, are we reading Elbaf right now?
Supposed to be, but unfortunately, shit keeps happening. But it's just not as, I don't know.
We don't need to get on that right now. That's another conversation for another day. Egghead's awesome. This episode was awesome. Unfortunately, at the end of this episode, Jenny gets kidnapped. And you know what they do with you know what the world government does with people they kidnap.
Yep.
They get sold into slavery. So
yep.
You will see. For those of you who don't know, you'll see what happens next episode. What comes of that?
Shout out to the governments just being the same in every universe.
Pretty much.
Hey, how about you keep politics out of my anime?
Oh no.
It's always been in your anime. You just were too illiterate and didn't have the creative writing skills or comprehension to understand it. Shout out to you.
You remember the discourse on the internet? This was like a few years ago when it came out that Luffy was a terrorist, and people was like, "Luffy's not a terrorist. He's a freedom fighter."
He's definitely a terrorist. Like that's the definition, though. Like,
and it's right there. It's right there.
He literally lit a fire to the world government's flag on a world government base. That's an act of war.
Yeah.
As a terrorist.
Yeah. With no hesitation, too. He basically punched a congressman in the face and was like
in the face.
So he
literally doesn't live by the law of the land. He's a wanted man.
Yeah. He goes to islands and liberates people. He literally freed a slave class of people.
By toppling governments and defeating kings. That's terrorism.
Terrorism. with the straw hat.
Yeah, with a straw hat. I don't know how to add to the terroristic threats, but yeah, sure.
That makes him look like a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's
But yeah, listen, man. One Piece is doing great. This season is doing great. Isn't it number 2 right now on my anime list of the top rated anime this season?
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Heard you say that earlier.
One Piece is goated. So what are you gonna do?
Can't wait till we hit Elbaf and that comes to a screeching halt. All right, y'all. Is there anything else that y'all want to talk about? Anything you want to mention? Any recommendations?
I am currently. What was I reading? I recently picked up again a manga called Record of Ragnarok.
Okay.
It's literally just pages of gods versus humans, just throwing them bitches. They just fighting. That's it. That's the book. It's just fighting. It's violence, but it does a good job of portraying like figures from mythology versus figures from human history, and they're like epitome of themselves. So like Einstein fought Beelzebub, and Einstein literally invented infinity while he was fighting Beelzebub. So
The fuck?
yeah, exactly. It's Hades fought. I forgot who Hades fought.
But people are fighting like wild shit.
Yeah, they're throwing hands basically. It's every page is them throwing hands, and then there's like a insert in between of them setting up the next fight. But it's literally gods versus humanity.
Okay. Mr. Sniffles, hit us.
I am suggesting How to Train a Dragon. So with Ultra the Flame, again, I'm not a huge Viking media type of guy. I'm not Vinland Saga would come and go, but yeah, the How to Train a Dragon. That I think that's for sure one of my favorite Viking stories, and it's great. Shout out to Toothless, shout out to Hiccup, and shout out to Ultra.
Okay. Discussing this with you guys about this episode and all the books that I read, I was going originally to pick Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, but I'm actually gonna pick Imperial. I was talking and reminding myself while I was reading this book, I liked everything about it. The art, which was done by Federico Vincentini, who I'm pretty sure was doing the art for Miles Morales. Shout out to you. You showed out great here. And Iban Coelho, who was doing art left and right. But I do love the cosmic feel because I haven't been getting that itch in my books lately. I really love how they're drawing in so many past storylines and beats. And I also like the fact that they got Hulk running around doing Hulk stuff.
Love that.
Really great. The current Hulk run that I think actually just ended with Philip Kennedy Johnson, I fell off on, and it was really good, but he wasn't beating the dog shit out of people every issue. And I want some more of that in my life. So this was great.
Okay. I'm here for it. I just don't want T'Challa's white son to be head of the intergalactic empire of Wakanda, which
that would not feel great, would it?
Would not feel great, for like kicking in teeth. But here we are. We'll wait to see what happens. I'm excited.
I got to give that one an issue too, man. I got to give him grace. He's built the cultural cachet for me to give him some grace. Shout out Christopher Priest.
Okay, we'll see. Shout out Christopher Priest.
We'll see.
Don't let us down, please.
Hey. And listen, guys, this has been another great episode of Dots and Lines. Please like and subscribe. And remember, Black Queens forever, Snow Bunnies never. Okay, bye.